Every eye has a story to tell. And as editors, it's our job to grab the attention of the audience towards the eye. And you know that very well, that one of the best ways to grab the attention, to attract the attention, is sharpness, right? And that's why we have portraits with shallow depth of field in the first place, so that the audience directly looks into the face instead of focusing on the background. Hey there, this is Unmation. Today I'm gonna give you 3 ways to sharpen eyes in Photoshop. All the ways are non-destructive, and if it doesn't make any sense to you, you're at the right place. Why 3 ways again? Because of 3 simple reasons. Number 1, how much time do you want to give your image to? Number 2, to what extent do you want to go in editing that image? To what extent do you want to go in bringing out the details? And number 3 is very interesting. How much your client paid you. So without any further ado, let's get started. But before I start, spoiler alert, the last method will either blow your mind or will make you curse me, saying that why didn't you tell that to me before? I'm sorry about that. But the first 2 methods are also very essential, so make sure that you stay tuned. So let's begin? Yeah, alright, let's begin. So here we are in Photoshop, and this is one of the stock photos that I downloaded using, this is free, using the free plugin called PiXimperfect, and this is one of the best plugins I've ever used. This plugin allows you to search through stock photos from inside of Photoshop and import them directly as a layer. Isn't that amazing? Guys, if you want to check it out, do click on the link right here or here. So I have made a video about it. It's absolutely free, guys. They have not paid me. I just am showing my love to the developer. Alright, so this is the image. So the first thing that you need to make sure is that you convert your layer into a smart object. To do that, all you need to do, you need to right click on it and click on convert to smart object. I have already done it, so that's why it's showing this symbol. Let's make the layers a little bit bigger. Let's make the thumbnails bigger. To make the thumbnails bigger, right click on it and click large thumbnails. I was always a fan of large thumbnails. Alright, so the next thing that you need to do is zoom in to the eyes. Once you're zoomed in, okay, zooming in is very essential. Don't ignore that because you need to see how it's being sharpened. Once you're zoomed in, go to Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. Alright, so this is very smart form of sharpening. So let's move the area where we want to sharpen the image. Now, in this case, it's the eye. Alright, so what are these values? Let me quickly explain what these values actually mean, and I would request you to play with these sliders to get a better understanding of what they actually do. But let me just give you a brief understanding. Okay, so what is the amount slider? Amount slider is the amount of sharpness, as the name suggests, the amount of sharpness that you need to apply to your image. Think of it like this. The difference between the highest peak and the deepest valley. That's the amount. And as you decrease the amount, the difference decreases. As you increase the amount, the difference increases. The difference between the highest peak and the deepest valley. Now think of it like this. The more the amount you have, the more the depth your sharpness will have. The more the depth your peaks and valleys will have. Now what is the radius? Think of radius as the size of the texture. If the radius is too low, the noise, which is the smallest texture, will be accentuated, pronounced. If the radius is little large, objects bigger than that will be pronounced. If the radius is much larger, objects much bigger than that will be pronounced. So on and so forth, alright? So you need to find a happy place where the objects that you want to accentuate, like the iris, like the eyeball, are more pronounced. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. And reduce noise, you don't have to focus on that for now. Alright, so let's look at the first 2 values and how we use it. Okay, let's look at the amount. So first off, when you're in the Smart Sharpen, increase the amount all the way to 500. Okay, now this might sound strange, but that's what I mean. Now edit the radius. What radius looks good to you? So if you see, look, if the radius is 0.2, you see only the noise accentuated. This is the preview section. Only the noise accentuated. If you go a little bit further, like 0.7, see, still the noise is more prevalent. Now if I go ahead and increase it to like, say, 4, now it's giving me a good result. How about if I increase it all the way to 12? Now this is looking ugly. Why? Because bigger objects are being accentuated. I want smaller objects than that. So you need to find a happy place. In this case, I think it's 4.5 because I already tried this image with that value. 4.3 will also do, but That's 4.5. Now, reduce noise. Now, when you applied sharpness, you have observed that sharpness along with it brings a lot of noise. So reduce noise helps you counter that noise, remove that noise. But here's the deal, here's the catch. The catch is that if you increase the reduce noise slider, the sharpness will also fade away. It's counterintuitive, alright? So if you increase the reduce noise, as you can see, the sharpness is also going away. Okay, so you don't want to keep the value too high, because if you do so, watch, the sharpness is going away. We don't want that to happen. Alright, so let's try it with this value. See, it's going away. So we want somewhere around 710-ish. So around, it's a good value, I guess. And once you're satisfied with this, before clicking OK, remember the amount was all the way to 500. Reduce the amount. We don't want that much sharpness. To around, say, how about this one? A little more, maybe. Alright, click OK. Now, this is not the final version of sharpness that you're going to apply to your image. Now, click OK. Once you click OK, you have more control. Now, this sharpness, watch this. This sharpness is applied all over the image. Now it's necessary that we control the places where the sharpness is being applied. Since in this case we want to apply sharpness to just eye, what do you think we will do to just restrict the effect just to the eye? Masking, right? And since, you see, this is a smart object, we will have a mask for the filter. And this is a filter for the smart object. A filter for smart object is called smart filter. Have a look. Smart filter. Now, click on that smart filter, click on that white box, press Ctrl I. It turns black. Now, the effect is also gone from all over the image. Now, I want to apply the effect. I want to make the effect appear only in those areas where I want it to appear. So, to do that, all you need to do, take a brush. Okay, make sure white color is selected. If it's any other color, just click on this small icon. Just this resets everything. If it's like red or something, I'll give you a little tip. Just click on it, it will reset everything. If it's black and white the opposite way, press X. It will just, switch things here and there. Alright, take white and start painting over the areas where you want the sharpness to be there. Also, make sure that you want to have the maximum sharpness in the iris pupil, right? And then you want to have the sharpness in the eyelashes. You don't want to have too much sharpness in the eyelashes. Why? Because that will create an ugly halo effect. Have a look. So if I apply sharpness here, look how ugly it's looking. It's not looking natural. Alright, so you want to apply little sharpness in that area. So full sharpness here. Right? And don't you dare apply sharpness on the eye whites. So if you want to make somebody beautiful, don't apply sharpness on the eye whites. Yes, if you're creating a ghostly feeling, then an old man is there, you want to show wrinkles and stuff. That may be the case, but in this you don't want to do that. Edges of the eyes, yes, you want a little sharpness there. Also eyelashes, just a little sharpness. To apply just a little sharpness, decrease the flow to around 20. And start painting a little bit on the eyelashes, not too much, right? Alright, so that's sharpening eyes using this method. Also, after you do that, let's look at the before and after first. So this is the before, this is the after. Isn't that amazing? Also, don't go overboard with sharpening, alright? Now, if you think the effect of sharpening is too much, all you can do, you can double click on this. You see this little icon, right? These little sliders kind of icon. Click on it. And once you do, an option will appear. And this option is really cool. And I'm just trying to say something till the loading finishes because this is a large image. Alright, so let's wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my, oh my god, oh my god, baby let me love you down, there's so many ways to love ya, break you down, there's so many. So watch this dialog box. It's blending options, smart sharpen. Alright, you can decrease the opacity of the filter. right? So if you think the effect is too much, you can go ahead and decrease the opacity to the point where you like, and there you go. Suppose you want the effect like 79%, click OK, and there you have it. This method is completely super duper non-destructive. So whenever you might want to change the values, you can always go ahead and double click on this Smart Sharpen, and the values will again appear. You can always tweak it later. Right? So this is one of the cool features of this. Alright, let's cancel this and let's move on to the second method. So alright, let's delete the smart filters. Okay, the second method is also quite interesting and it's also non-destructive. So make a duplicate of this layer. To do that, press Ctrl or Command J. This makes a duplicate. So watch this, duplicate is also a smart object. So it has to have a smart object. Alright, then go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Right. This time, the value of radius will be same as the value that we used in Smart Sharpen. Remember? The areas that you want to accentuate. The size of the texture. Okay. So for that image, what worked? 4.5. Alright. If you're using this method for the first time, then what you need to do, you need to find a value where you find all the edges which you want to pronounce. In other words, if the radius is too low, as you can see, only you can see noise. You don't want that. And if it's too high, you can see no details, every pixel, that kind of blurry stuff. So you need to find a place where it is all gray, but with the details that you want to accentuate. Alright, so for this, 4.4, 4.5 worked. Click OK. And once you do that, change the blend mode to overlay. And there you have it. This is the before, this is the after. Now to limit the effect only to the eye, all you need to do, you know that, do the same thing. Click on that smart filters, press Ctrl I. No, that's the wrong method. You guys get carried away so easily. Okay, so why it won't work in this? Because in this, the Smart Sharpen was a filter itself, right? In this, we are leveraging overlay and filters at the same time. So if I just use this smart filters, this will kind of become funky. Let's do this. Let's try it. This will become funky. This is supposed to make it funky. Why? Because we are leveraging both filters and the overlay blend mode. In this case, that's the reason why we created a duplicate. We want the affected duplicate to be applied only to the specific eye. So make sure you click on the layer, not the smart filter. Then create a mask. Control I, and one of the easiest way to create an opposite mask is that press and hold Alt and then create a mask. Alright, press and hold Alt and then create a mask. It will already generate a black mask, so you need not to go create and Control I. You get the idea. Alright, then take a brush, white color selected, start painting over it, and there you go. And you know what the advantage of this is? If you want the extra 200% sharpness, all you need to do, you need to copy this layer, and you have that 200% sharpness. If you want 300% sharpness, copy it again, duplicate it. You have 300% sharpness. So that's the advantage that you have with high pass. Alright, so let's go back and move on to the third method. Let's delete all this. Now before I move on to the third method, and this is the easiest method ever, and this also gives an excellent result, so you need not curse me. I always save the best for the last. Alright, create a new layer. This is very simple, fairly simple. Create a new layer. Blank layer. You remember we had an old friend, if you're an old Photoshop user, we had an old friend called Sharpen tool. Some of you might say, why to use it? It's obsolete. Let me tell you something. The reason why the Sharpen tool is still there in Photoshop, it's because the math, the algorithm has been improved amazingly. And you'll see how non-destructive it can go. Alright, not actually, but yes, it can go non-destructive. How? Select the Sharpen tool. Select it, okay? Don't curse me, don't blame me, this is cool, you will get that. Alright, you have to do nothing. Create a new layer, select a Sharpen tool, and make sure, this is essential, make sure protect details and sample all layers is checked. And once they are checked and you're on the new layer, zoom in and just simply paint over the areas which you need to sharpen. Also make sure that you set a nice value for the strength. Think of strength as opacity or flow. If you have 100% strength, the strength of the brush will be 100%, 40% strength. It's kind of self-explanatory. Less sharpening, less strength. More sharpening, more strength. So I usually work with around like 35-40% so that I can paint it all over again. So I have a habit of painting it for quite a while, so that you see some areas I want to sharpen more, some areas I want to sharpen less. So I want to have a light brush so that I sharpen again and again on the areas that I want to sharpen more. Alright, so sharpen on the areas where you want to bring out the details. Okay, here, maybe a little here. Okay, let's do that. Let's increase the strength. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Now, watch the magic. We created a new layer, and this sharpness is on a new layer. If you think the sharpness is too much, decrease the opacity. And there you go. And watch this. If you're wondering what's in this layer, let's just turn off this and watch the areas that we sharpened. Isn't that amazing? Alright, so let's increase the opacity back to 100 and let's see it carefully. The areas that we sharpened. So that's how you sharpen eyes in Photoshop. Now I gave you 3 ways to sharpen eyes. What were they? Smart Sharpen, High Pass, Sharpen Tool, right? Now which one should you use? Well, if you have a lot of time, if you have a considerable amount of time to spend behind an image, and if your client has paid you too much, then no doubt you have to use Smart Sharpen. Because Smart Sharpen is the most advanced and the best sharpening Photoshop has to offer, and it's available with the latest versions of Photoshop. It does give you a lot more controls, it's completely non-destructive, and it's just one filter, unlike High Filter where you have to make duplicates if you want more and opacity and stuff. There are things that you have to do with it. Well, next comes High Pass. Now, you want to use High Pass when you're not working with a lot of layers. You want to use High Pass when you don't want too much complexity, yet you want good results. You don't want to mess with that amount, reduce noise, shadows, highlights, all those complex things that you have in Smart Sharpen. You don't have to mess with that, yet you'll get amazing results with High Pass. But also, if you want to go beyond 500% sharpness, you can always duplicate your High Pass layer and there you have it. So High Pass is for everything, but if you have too many layers in your image, if it's a composite, then High Pass is not your way to go, but you can always apply High Pass after merging the layers at the top. Now next comes Sharpen Tool. If your client has not paid you much, and he's bargaining a lot, and also at the same time, if you yourself for your own images don't have much time but you have to publish it on Facebook, social media, you want to do things quickly, you quickly can go ahead, and yet if you want best results, amazing results, the Sharpening Tool is really your way to go. Also, if you're posting it online or social media, nobody will ever be able to notice whether you used High Pass, Sharpen Tool or Smart Sharpen. So that pretty much wraps up the session. I hope this video was helpful. If this was, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe. Not just subscribe, press on that bell button so that you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.